And I, as much as back then I really wasn't close with God and I really did not know much about God, I was going to church, like I was a church goer. But if I go to church, trust me, I would sleep. Everybody knew this. I would sleep from the beginning of the sermon down to the end of the sermon, down to the end of the church. Hi guys, I am Ayotayo and you're welcome back to another amazing episode on Evolve. Once again, I am your host Ayotayo, and this is going to be the very first video aspect of this podcast after years. And I'm so happy to finally be doing the video aspect because this has been like my dream to start for a really long time, but I've never really had the boldness to start. So yeah, I'm so happy to finally be starting. But that aside, let's get right into today's podcast episode. And the title of today's episode would definitely have to be how to control the outcome of your behaviors. And not just any behaviors, your bad behaviors. Now, we can't talk about something without talking about the definition of that thing. And if we are going to be defining bad behaviors, then bad behaviors is the kind of attitude that you display that can be of harm to other people, that can hurt other people, right? And I say other people because there's no how if you are behaving in some kind of way that is not exactly good and it's just yourself, well, that's just for you. But when it comes to other people, that's when it gets really bad. And there's something I always say, and that is the fact that human beings are social beings, right? I always say this, like in everything I do, maybe like with my newsletter or my Instagram, my social media, and basically everything. I say it, that is that human beings are social beings, meaning that human beings have to interact, human beings have to socialize with other people. And just because you're going to be socializing with other people, that means that you have to tone down on the way that you act sometimes, right? And to further make you understand what I'm saying, in the sense that your words, your actions, and basically your character in general influences other people, let me tell you a story. This was actually told in church. I really do not remember the context of what happened, but it's like a real life thing. It happened in real life, but I can't remember the context of what was said, but I remember the story. It was this lady. It was like a scenario between two people, right? It was this lady, and she was like a celebrity, right? And then there was a makeup artist that was supposed to do our makeup. And because there was like no time left, the celebrity was like, hey, no need, don't do my makeup, all right? Let's just go because there is no time. Do you understand what I'm saying? No time, and the makeup really is not necessary. I could just go with my normal face. And then probably the way it might have been said, or the way the makeup artist interpreted it, was not exactly the way the celebrity meant it. It affected that word, the way the woman talked to her affected her to the point where for 10 years when the makeup artist and the celebrity were meeting again, probably in another occasion, they had the opportunity to converse with each other, they had the opportunity to talk with each other, right? And then the makeup artist was just telling the celebrity that, remember what you said 10 years ago about me not doing your makeup and all of that? Yeah, that word really affected me to the point where I stopped doing makeup entirely. And it's been 10 years. And then the celebrity was just explaining to her that, hey, I did not mean it like that. And then she just explained to her that she basically did not mean it like that. So the whole point of the story that I just told you, right, is just for you to know that your words hold so much power, especially when you are telling it to another person, especially when you're conversing with other people. Aside from your words, your behaviors also. I mean, arrogancy, pride, and all those bad behaviors, basically, they affect other people, right? And you probably are wondering, who is this person to talk about bad behaviors to, or like what experience do you have with bad behaviors? Well, I will be honest with you guys, okay? I personally have my own history with the bad behaviors, right? So let me just be telling you like a bit of it. So this was more dominant when I was like much younger. I used to have this attitude. I really did not know where it came from, but I used to be really sad. I used to be really, arrogant. Let me just say it, arrogant. And I really do not know where this attitude came from, but I just found myself just doing these things consistently. And because of this, like, everyone really avoided me. Even my personal family members, they avoided me to the point where it was like, what are you doing? I can forever remember this time when my dad's friend came over, and he was like, he just called me and just sat me down and was like, why are you always sad? Why are you always angry? Why are you always arrogant with people, especially people that are older than you, and I was just looking at me like this. I can never ever forget, and just looked at me and said, do you know who sadists are? I really did not know what that word was, okay, but it made it sound, or it made it seem in a way that it was like something big, that if you are like a sadist or something, it means that you're going to die or something like that. I was really, really scared. Honestly, I was really, really scared, and I was also really tired of people always like avoiding me and stuff like that. Even till today, my sister always like, it really changed though, probably maturity. But aside from maturity, like a lot of things went into like that change, like that old change, right? So I'll be telling you guys that in a bit. But to cut the long story short, after like that conversation with him, I just went on and I searched, and I found out that it wasn't actually something life-threatening or anything, but it wasn't exactly good, right? It just clearly meant that I have bad behaviors, and because of that bad behavior, it made people avoid me. Like I said, it made people distance themselves with me. I was always to myself, always lonely. And even when I go to church, people notice this. When I go around, people notice this around me. And because I was always lonely and to myself, I wanted to change this. So here are the few things that I did, right, to change my personal attitude to be where I am today. So if people ever tell you that people don't change, people do change. People do change, right? I am a living testimony to prove to you that people actually do change. There are different types of bad behaviors. I'll be totally honest with you. Different type of bad behaviors that people display, and this might be in your place of work, this might be in school, this might be in your area, or wherever it is. People definitely do have bad behaviors. It can be arrogancy, it can be pride, it can be anger, just any type of bad behavior there is. There's no two words for it, right? If someone has a bad behavior, then it definitely is a bad behavior. So if you're one of these people that has these behaviors, then just know it in your mind. I'm not telling you to feel bad or anything. Like I always say, the goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. The goal is growth, right? Everybody is trying to grow. I also am trying to grow myself. And that's why I'm making this video, to remind myself of these things, and to also tell you guys about these things so that you can learn, obviously. So here's what I did, right? After the conversation with my dad's friend and like the whole research and everything, here's what I did, and I feel like this can also help you if you can put it into action, right? So what I basically did was that I prayed. You probably have been expecting me to say that, yeah, but I prayed to God because I was tired, like I said, and as much as back then I really wasn't close with God and I really did not know much about God. I was going to church, like I was a church goer, but if I go to church, trust me, I would sleep. Everybody knew this. I would sleep from the beginning of the sermon down to the end of the sermon, down to the end of the church. I would sleep, right? But I did know that God answers prayers. So I would just go down on my knees consistently every day, asking for peace and peace. I did this for years, right? And as I was doing that, I was also like listening to a lot of podcasts that could help with changing of attitudes and behaviors. Basically, listening to podcasts, listening to YouTube videos, or watching YouTube videos, reading books that could help me grow myself and to make me a better person and to change those bad behaviors, basically. I don't know if I'm making sense here, right? Because I'm feeling so much happiness and anxiety, right? Just shooting this video alone. But like I said, the first thing I did was I prayed. So if you are also going through this, if you are also having these bad behaviors and you feel like it has been affecting aspects of your life, and you feel like it has been affecting your relationship with other people, trust me, just pray to God that you want this attitude to be taken away from you. Because one thing is for sure, one thing is certain, right? As much as the things that we can see is physical, there are also spiritual aspects to life, and these spiritual aspects, they control the physical, right? So in case if you just see someone just like acting in some kind of way that is not nice, best believe that there is a spirit controlling that thing. There is a spirit controlling that person, right? So just pray. Prayer solves everything. That's the first thing that you're going to do. You're going to pray to God to take away every spirit of bad behavior, of every spirit that is making you act in that kind of way, you're going to pray to God to take it away from you, right? And then the second thing, like I said, that I did was I listened to like a lot of podcasts. Trust me, if anybody tells you that podcasts do not work, just look at the person and say you've not tried them, because they actually work. I'm talking podcasts on self-help. I'm talking books on self-help. I'm talking, music on that motivates you to become a better person. Yeah, they definitely do work because they work for me, right? So you can also try those things. Those are things that personally worked for me. I'm just, like I always say, I'm sharing things that has worked for me and things that could probably work for you. So what worked for me was that I prayed and I listened and read like a lot of self-help things, a lot of self-help books, and that has brought me to where I am today. And I'm super grateful to God above everything for how far He has brought me. Because absolutely, if I tell you that nobody knows this about me, not even my friends, they do not know this about me. Everybody just sees me as like that type of laughing type of person, always happy, always cheerful. But you all don't know. You guys do not know that there was actually an history for all of this that you are seeing, right? And those are basically things that helped me to change my personal bad behaviors. So I really hope that this has helped you. If you are in that position right now, best believe that there is still hope for you. People do change. Do not believe anybody that tells you that people don't change. You can change, right? You just have to take actions. I always say this at the end of every podcast that I do, both those that I release and those that I leave in my draft. I always say this, and that is that you cannot help yourself if you constantly read all these things and do all these things. Well, not even do. Like if you constantly read things, listen to things, but you do not do them, if you do not take the right actions towards putting things that you've read, putting the things that you've listened to into action, well, you're just going to remain the same, right? But anyways, thank you so much for listening and tuning into today's episode. I really do hope that this helped to a certain point, if not to a large extent. I really hope that this helped to a certain point. And make sure to like this video if you did like it. Make sure to like this video, give it a thumbs up, like a very big thumbs up. Subscribe, turn on post notification, and also comment down below your thoughts on this video, more videos you'd like to see on this channel, and any other thing that you want to say, just comment it down in the comment section below. Also follow my social media. I will be putting it anywhere up here, and I will see you guys in the next episode.
A few moments later.
There is a place, a secret place.